Hey Hebrew fans, this is Todd. So today I'm going to talk about a custom figure that I made, and it's from the comic book Homecoming. Here's what the comic looks like. It was made by Emiliano. It's a really cool comic. I do suggest if you find it online to get it. Um, it was made years ago. Let me find the first page so I can show you. There we go. There's his name right there. And it's really cool. It basically is a story that takes place after New Adventures He-Man. And so he basically is a new He-Man comes back to Eternia, and he's ready to basically fight the forces of evil. King Hiss is taken over, and it's a really cool storyline. Um, in the comic, he wears his blue pants and boots, and then he puts on the old He-Man armor. And so the idea was to make a custom of that. So that's what I have. So what happened was I wanted to buy a bunch of these New Adventures Thunder Punch He-Mans. So I wanted to use the armor to create something like this right here. This is my plan. And we already got the sword and the shield from Lord Mask. So I wanted to just get the armor. And the first one I got, I tried to heat the armor up so it would be a little more flexible and be able to clean it too at the same time. And unfortunately, it just shrunk like a trinky dink. So then I ended up buying another one and used the armor and made this really cool figure right here. And this one right here, I actually made it so it glows in the dark. I'm not going to try to show you how it looks glowing in the dark because there's too much lights right here. But basically, I painted the inside of the armor by masking off the outside. And then after I masked it off, then I went ahead and sprayed it. And then I also sprayed the inside of the shield and the sword and coated them with a clear that does not have UV protection. That way it still glows. And it looks really cool glowing in the dark. But I also wanted a non-glow-in-the-dark version, so I ended up buying a third one of the Thunder Punch He-Mans so I can do, the non-glow-in-the-dark version too. So, there he is. So, now that I got my Thunder Punch He-Man Classics made, I had a bunch of these figures left over with no armor. And I was noticing that the paint color is kind of strange on these figures. If you take a look, you can see that the coloring is just kind of odd. The arms have kind of a yellowish tint to them sometimes, and the head's kind of red. It's hard to see in the camera right here, but trust me, the color is kind of odd. Maybe this one will show it a little better. Of course, this one's missing his boots. I pulled them off. And you can just see the color is just kind of strange. So I decided to paint it. And while I was painting it, I also decided to slap on that He-Man armor and make him into the Homecoming He-Man. There he is. And you can see the color difference. And I also, of course, redid his hair. I figured I wanted to be the standard He-Man color hair. And it kind of gives him a little more tan that is more reminiscent of the original He-Man figures from the 80s. So that's kind of what I was shooting for, was to make it look more like the original figures. See, here's a figure from the 80s. It's not the exact color, but it's a lot closer than, say, this. So, kind of cool. Now, what's neat about this particular custom I made is notice the armor. Notice the squares all have gray around them. When I first saw that, at first I thought it was that the paint wore off somewhere, but actually if you look closer, it's actually the design. And then I turned it over and noticed that on the back side, the clips only had one peg, as opposed to having numerous pegs. Like this one has 3 on it for adjustments. It only had one because it's only made to fit on one figure, and that's how the original ones looked, as opposed to the square being completely red. Now, because this torso is much smaller than the original, I had to figure out a way to fit that armor on there. So what I did was, I actually crisscrossed the back of the armor, you can see there, so it made it fit tighter and keeps it on really nice. And you can see it only has the one clip holding it in place as opposed to the 3, which are adjustable. So kind of cool. What's interesting though, if you take a look at the old He-Man comics that came with the figures, one of the pictures shows the armor looking like this in the back, and I almost wonder if they put it on wrong on one of the figures originally. Anyway, so there he is. There's my new Homecoming custom He-Man. And you can see I repainted a bunch of stuff on him, repainted the boots and some other things. And then used the original shield from the He-Man figure, original sword. I wasn't going to battle axe him, just because I figured, by the time he's gone through New Adventures, he's just into the sword at this point. And it works really cool. Now, of course, I'm a classics guy, so I made a classics version too. So this is my classics version. Many of you have seen him already in other posts and stuff. And in the Homecoming comic, he actually does have the old cuffs on, just like that. So I did go for that on my classics one. Changed out the boots so it has more detail. You can see it has the two-tone as opposed to the original New Adventures He-Man that came with classics, where it was just one gold color. So there we go. Those are my two Homecoming custom He-Man figures. All right, leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. As a side note, I did get a Rio Blast from eBay from the 80s. There you go. Here's the Rio Blast. I already posted this on Facebook. And I wanted to see how the hat that I made fit on him. And check it out. The hat does fit really good on his head. I was surprised how well it fit. In fact, it fits on there so well, it doesn't even come off after you put it on. I kind of wish now I would have bought one in white so I could see how it looks on him. This is the original blue color that you can choose from. And of course, the Rio Blast I got, I'm pretty happy with him. I got him at a really low price, and he has all of his accessories except for his backpack. But once you put the hat on, the backpack doesn't fit right anyway. So kind of a cool thing with the hat on there. So hey, for those of you that want the hat, go to my Shapeways, check it out. I know, shameless plug, right? And my name on Shapeways is also Hebro. My name on Facebook is Hebro. My name on eBay is Hebro. So check it out. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. And again, this whole video was about my custom Homecoming He-Man. There he is. Leave a comment, and I might write back. Thanks.